I want to talk about 12 mistakes that most brands make when developing a product for retail. Let me show you an example of the first mistake. This is a pretty cool product, isn't it? The problem is, this is a direct-to-consumer product only. If it has any retail presence at all, it's going to be through a niche store, some destination store that somebody has to drive to. If you have a product that's already very expensive, has all the bells and whistles, then you can overcome a couple of the issues. It's going to have a power display to explain what the product really is. It's going to need trained, assisted sales associates that are going to have to explain the product before a consumer buys it. Let's talk about what a buyer is looking for. Number one, a buyer is looking for dollars sold per inch of space. This product, simply said, is way too big. Number two, a self-explanatory product. Something that doesn't need a ton of education to move the product off the shelf. Number three, a retail price point within the reach of most of the end consumers. Number four, a complementary product, not a cannibalizing product. Think add to market basket strategy. Is this product going to be adding extra dollars out the door for the retailer? Or is it just cannibalizing an already existing product that they're already selling? What are you doing when you create a new product for retail? You're creating a slightly different and better mousetrap. It's very rare that you create a product that hasn't existed before or in a category that hasn't existed before. You're just making better modifications. At Anthill, we deal with hundreds of brands that have all created very slight differences and have really capitalized on those differences. For example, we work with a baby bottle where when a baby squeezes the bottle from down here, it squirts up into their mouth instead of a baby leaning back and having it slowly drip through. This is a slightly better mousetrap. They're not reinventing anything. Everybody knows how to use a baby bottle, but they're making it easier. It's an easier play for the end consumer. What is the goal of your product? Are you the leader, the innovator, or are you a mass product? Solidly define who you are and what your goal is. We deal with many brands that are the innovators of the industry. We also deal with many products that are just trying to get the most volume sold. What is your goal? Who do you want to be? What's your mission? Most brands aren't brandable. And what do I mean by that? That means it doesn't really matter what the product looks like or how it's displayed. Most brands just have a product. Is that good enough for you? Or do you want to actually have a brand and create a lifestyle around your brand? Are you the market innovator or are you the volume leader? Even Apple has problems being the innovator all the time. Be realistic on the price point of your product. Do you have an MSRP of 50 bucks but have a 10-cent item? Don't try to rip off your end consumer. How do we develop a reasonable price point? Well, what you do is you work backwards. First, have a survey and figure out what end consumers are willing to pay for your product. Next, subtract the retailer's margins that they need on their side. Typically, it's about 50 points as a usual starting point. This will give you your dealer price list. This is what stores are purchasing the product for. Make sure after your dealer price list that you're making at least 50-point margin on your side in order to be healthy. That'll cover other costs, including employees, overhead, and paying for the product itself to be made. I'm going to give you an A+ strategy on developing a product and making sure you're hitting it at its peak performance. We worked with a brand whose executive came from Coca-Cola. Her strategy when starting out this new brand was, let's find an emerging trend and let's couple that with a stagnant category, something that hasn't been defended for a long time or properly innovative. When you can dissect a channel that hasn't been defended properly for a long time and hasn't had innovation and merge it with an emerging trend, you have a winner. For this Coca-Cola executive, she found that the emerging trend was single dose usage for products, small shots. That was the key. It was doing very well in other channels. She used this trend and put it into a stagnant category, which is over-the-counter medicines. And what was the result? A single shot of liquid medicine that a consumer could use per application. I'm going to show you an example of a brand that we started, Invigorate Essential Oils. We knew that essential oils were an emerging trend. It was becoming mass. But we also knew that there was a stagnant category, which was car air fresheners. This category hadn't been changed or altered for decades. You know the ones, the familiar chemical trees that hang off of the mirror. We were going to innovate and we were going to make it better. So we made an essential oil car diffuser. We wanted people that were using their essential oils from their homes and putting it on their skin to be able to be consistent in their own life and take their products into their car for use, instead of using the chemical products they're already using in their car. Now, what type of products do I recommend you stay away from? Constantly changing technology. Take cell phone cases. Cell phone cases can change every single year. What are the problems with that? It's high inventory. It's quick liquidations. It's extremely expensive. If you're going to work with Apple, for example, you have to have a factory that's MFI certified. What a headache. It's highly competitive. There's very little margins, and you have to take back tons of good from retailers. The new product release happens so quickly that you simply don't have time to monetize your already developed product. I highly recommend staying away from Me Too products. What are Me Too products? They're a product that has no barrier to entry. Take lip balm or take battery banks. Anybody can make any of these type of products. And in fact, you'll have buyers reference you all the time saying, oh man, not another battery bank. If you do get in, the buyer is going to be cannibalizing your margins. They know there's too much competition and other brands that are willing to take your spot in line. Don't sell a product that somebody can simply throw their logo on and start selling again. You have to have innovation. If you're going to be a battery bank, if you're going to be a lip balm, you're going to have to make a substantial change that's going to differentiate yourself from everybody else. Put a good spin on it. The retail packaging and the size of the product is a really big deal for retailers. Again, they look at dollars sold per inch on the store. Could they fit multiple products in that little spot that you're taking up? 2 products for a retailer is always better than 1. Here's an example of one product that we had. Many of the end consumers wanted this small 6-inch version. Others wanted the tall and the large combo. What they didn't want was the single tall product by itself. It simply took up too much room. They could monetize multiple products in that same space that this one product was taking up. This is a Shark Tank product that did very well in retail. It was specifically designed to get every last drop of liquid makeup out of a jar. The smaller the product is, the easier it is for the buyer to justify the space it's going to take up on the shelf. Let's think about the value add. Does your product bring value to the buyer that it didn't have before? Here's a story about Invigorate, one of our brands. Drugstores already sell essential oils, so an essential oil car diffuser is a value add for them. It's adding dollars out the door. This is called the add to market basket strategy. I'd like you to take special note of the packaging here. We have a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing package. It has a window so customers can see the product inside. It uses icons on the bottom of the packaging to show where the product can be in use. It has beautiful lifestyle images on the side and on the back. It is clean and it is appealing to the end consumer. Fantastic products in the buyer's eyes are products that are incremental sells, products that have to be reordered and used up again and again by end consumers. A razor blade is a fantastic example of this. These type of products bring customers back in the store day after day, week after week. So here's the challenge. Think of any component in your product that could be changed out. A common strategy for selling products into retail is to have a loss leader. You have a product that's going to get you in the door with retailers. For an example, this printer, this is your loss leader. This printer does not cost $79.99 and it has not the typical retail value of the printer. Where this company is making its money is on the ink, the reorders over and over and over again. These brands know that getting a product in the store is the key. They know if they can get the end consumer to purchase the product, that the residual money is here to follow. So remember these 12 tips. Avoid the mistakes that brands make when trying to develop a product for retail. Capitalize on the good and get rid of the bad.